I apologized
in the moment. I certainly feel that if, again, I don't want to speak for her.
No recollection, no negative impacts. And then he says that men and women remember things differently. I'm here with Warren Kinsella, Liberal War Room strategist, and has been at the forefront of GROPE Gate, as you can see from the front page of the Toronto Sun. Prime Minister Trudeau says nope to the GROPE. Truth? What's the truth here?
Well, I think the truth is increasingly muddy. He more clearly denied it yesterday after his meeting with Premier Ford. But why did he then apologize? We know from that editorial that was written in August 2000, he apologized. That's what the editorial leads with.
That's right.
Well, are you now repudiating that apology? Are you saying you shouldn't have given the apology?
Justin Trudeau has put a standard by which everyone needs to be measured right now. His words, we believe her. We believe the victim. And that's a very good place to start, frankly. But this doesn't seem to be the standard by which he's putting himself to. Just ask some of the people that were former members of his caucus, former members of the NDP that have been, had allegations. Patrick Brown, the allegations against him. How is it, for one thing, why did it take so long for this story to actually catch fire? I mean, the Toronto Sun wrote about it on June 8th. But all of a sudden now we've got CNN, the Daily Mail, we've got everybody from around the world writing about it. Why now?
I think, one of the most important themes in politics is whether somebody's a hypocrite or not. Somebody professes to be something and there's someone else. Like yesterday, he just made a whole series of extraordinary statements. At one point, I can't remember the exact quote, but he said, men and women kind of remember this stuff differently.
Often a man experiences an interaction as being benign or not inappropriate, and a woman, particularly in a professional context, can experience it differently, and we have to respect that and reflect on that.
Like, no, if we're talking about inappropriate contact, inappropriate sexual conduct, it's not remembered differently. In the eyes of the law, there's no gender defense that it's different if you're a guy.
Yeah.
If he was touching her inappropriately, that was inappropriate, and he owed her an apology.
All right, so you have been in those back rooms and strategizing and trying to figure out how to get out of this complete mess and this absolute dumpster fire that they've allowed to continue, this narrative going on and on and on, when it could have, I believe, been very easily dealt with, an apology, move on. It's not there. What should he be doing now?
Well, I'd be the last one that he'd take advice from.
I know that. So I give him some free advice.
What I would do is I would just look straight on camera like this and say, 18 years ago, my dad was dying. 18 years ago, my brother had just died in an avalanche in BC. And that's why I was in BC, to receive a donation in his name. I was in a bad space. I was in rough shape. I drank too much. And I don't remember acting inappropriately with this young woman, but if she says that I did, I did. I am ashamed of my conduct. I deplore my conduct. I've reached out to her to apologize again, and I'm going to take positive steps to deal with this in the future, which includes not drinking.
Absolutely. What do we know about this young woman? I know that her editors have come out recently and said that it would appear that Trudeau's response is, quote, tap dancing. But what do we know about her? We know that I've heard, certainly through the reporting that you've been putting out there, she wants to remain anonymous. She is now a federal employee. She's out of the world of journalism. But this is a storm swirling around her.
I don't want to identify her. I know her name. I know where she works. She works in a federally regulated sector. And I don't think we need her to say anything else. We now know from the reporting of the National Post, excellent reporting, that they determined that the author of that editorial in the Creston Valley Advance was her. She wrote it. So we now, as lawyers would say, we've got her evidence. The onus now shifts to Justin Trudeau to account for his behavior and to do more than what he's doing, which is just offering up a lawyer's weasel words.
GROPE-gate is going to continue unless the Prime Minister's office gets a grip on it. Last thing I want to ask you, what wisdom did anyone have to say, all right, Mr. Prime Minister, you've just sat there and allegedly had to answer allegations against groping someone 18 years ago? Why not just take your shirt off and go for a topless jog?
Yeah,
what's the rationale there?
There's none at all, and it's just bad judgment. It just looks reckless. It looks like he's not taking it seriously. And he has a problem as of yesterday. The problem, as you point out, has gotten worse. You can't say on the one hand it didn't happen and then say, yes, I apologized. Well, it's like, Prime Minister, why did you apologize if nothing happened? Why didn't you seek a correction? Why didn't you even launch a libel action because they defamed you? Why didn't you take those steps? 18 years ago, you didn't, which leads a lot of us to believe, reasonably, it happened.
There's a lot of stuff that we would have to, forget in this instance, and a lot of things that we would have to, put to aside in terms of logic if we were to go down this rabbit hole that the Prime Minister and his office have taken us down. But we look forward to more from Warren Kinsella. You want to hear more from him? Follow him on Twitter. No doubt there will be more on GROPE Gate, and you can tune in to Kinsella Cast to hear from him. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, log on to Facebook and Twitter, and let us know what you think.